Welcome back to Property Play. I'm your host, Elena Saradidis, and today I have Ravi Singh back, and we're going to talk a little bit about how Ravi became Ravi.
Sure.
Where did you start with real estate? How you can talk about how you got into the
Yeah.
real estate market, or you can talk about your own real estate portfolio and like what did you use to trade up into the market?
So my career is really an interesting journey. Um, it kind of starts that my dad, he was working in the commercial real estate lending portfolio at Scotiabank when I was a child. And when I was 10 years old, grade five, he took us to this really nice restaurant called Devonsley Place. And he says to me and my sister, we're moving to Oakville. We lived in Scarborough. He says, "I took a job with the Welton family, and we're gonna be developing, land." And, we're like, "What?" No, like, my sister had her grade 8 dance, and she was all sad, and, like, it was just this whole thing about, like, relocating. But as a child, every weekend, my dad would drive me around, and he'd say, "You see this land over here? We're servicing this Hazel McCallion. She wants to put a school over here, and this land over here is going to be a park. You see those stakes? Each one of those is a house." And dinner conversation, being around this as a child was always something that was just always around. My parents loved to go look at model homes. It was like their pastime. We would go, and I remember this. John Body had this loft, third story in these model homes. So this was just something that almost just through like family upbringing was something always around. And when I was in my early 20s, I was finishing up school and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Actually, my dad, God rest his soul, he took me to meet the guys. So he at the bank, he was very close to the guy that sat on the very first derivatives desk anywhere in Canada. And he was very close to the basically the chief accountant, retired as the chairman of Scotiabank. So Sabby and Jeff, and you couldn't picture two more different people, Elena. So Sabby is an accountant, and I meet with him, and he's like, "You have to go get your master's, and after your master's, you get another degree, and then stay in school, and then get more qualification." I'm like, "Okay." At the same time, I'm selling tickets to a boat cruise, and I'm on the phone in like under the S at Scotiabank, like the S in the sky. I'm literally looking at it, and I'm talking to this guy about tickets for this party, and I turn around and Jeff's there. And Jeff is very colorful, okay? Like he rode horses, traveled the world, and he just fell into selling derivatives. Like he traded derivatives when derivatives first became a thing. And he looks at me and he looks at me on the phone. And I'm turning around and he's like, "Are you Ankar's son?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just like throwing a party." He's like, "Let's go have lunch." So we go, we have lunch at Highs, I think it was, or Reds. And we're talking and we're catching up. My dad sits down, and Jeff, failed marriage, not the best relationship with his kids. He says to my dad, he's like, "You did good by this guy. He's gonna be great. Don't let Sabi tell him to stay in school. He needs to be in sales." So long story short, after all of that, that's kind of like background. I was throwing parties. I was in the hospitality industry and having a really good time. And I took a job because I thought that's what you're supposed to do at IBM. Okay, I got the IBM sales manager for Philadelphia, Atlantic City, da 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 da. So, I'm chucking and jiving. I'm traveling down to Atlantic City, meet business partners. I'm calling IBM clients, asking them why they don't want X servers or whatever. And at the same time, I had started to get a little sick. And I was really like, it was really changing my life. Like, I had chronic, like bowel issues, digestion issues, like, to the point where I had uh, been through the medical system in Canada. I'm not going to talk about that yet, but I'd shrunk it to 118 pounds. Like I was just super weak and tired, and they gave me prednisone. I'm trying to figure all this out. And I decided that I wanted to make sure that my life and my career was of impact. Thinking about my dad now, he's like, "Well, your client is IBM shareholders and you're going to have impact on them." Like, give me a break, dad. Like, I could do better than that with my life. And the girl I was dating at the time is now my wife. I think you've met Ange. She worked at Colleges International, and she said, "Rav, have you ever thought about real estate?" And you know what? One thing led to another. I got my license at 25. Um, Sold my first home right around then. There's butter. You know what? Kind of fell into it while I was just kind of like throwing parties and having fun. The first deal I ever did was for a client. I was writing my phase 3 exam on Saturday. Friday night, we're sitting down on this sofa in the bathroom at District Nightclub. I say, yeah, I'm gonna get my real estate license. He's like, when? I'm like, well, I write my last exam tomorrow. He's like, when can you show me some condos? And I'm like, you want to go after the exam? I didn't have a license or anything. He was like, sure. And we bought an assignment at 169 John Street. The listing agent was Robin Pope, great agent, right? Brad Lamb back in the day.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell into it.
You know Lily, who you've been talking to? He was his old admin.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, there you go. I get it now, right? So I did that assignment and then just kind of like was reactive. And then at 28, the market changed. At 28, the market changed. The market was a little tougher. I remember I was going to Winter Music Conference in Miami with all the boys. We had our little record label going. We're still throwing parties. And I took this listing, 243 Ellington. Funny how you remember these addresses sometimes. And I sold it to my own buyer. It was a 6% commission. I'm like, this is amazing. And then I found out that the seller owed more money than the purchase price. He had a second and he was negotiating with the second. And long story short, that fell apart. Then I had a listing for a friend at 62 Ainsdale. I don't even know why I remember these addresses, but it is. And I lost the listing because I hadn't sold it. The market was really soft that summer. And it had been taken over by an agent from Royal LePage, a good agent. And it was the wife's agent. I was friends with the husband. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, lost this, lost this. And I remembered I didn't have a financial plan. Like I had already spent the money that I hadn't received yet. You know what I mean? And that 2008, my father passed away as well. I was just in a rut, right? And the craziest thing, I'll tell you about this. We could record this. A psychic came to see my mom, and she's like, "Auntie, you might not believe this, right? But your late husband asked me to come here." I have my mom say, okay, this is kind of weird, but continue. And she's like, he didn't tell me anything till I got she drew from Burlington to come see us in Scarborough. All right. She's like, I didn't know until we got here, but I just saw this sign and it said Ravine Lots. And he says, you see that? And in Ravine, it has my name. And she's like, oh, okay. So she sat down and she's like, listen, he asked me to come because there's a fork in the road for Ravi. And I saw Ravine and he says, you see Ravine, Ravi? He says, there's a fork in the road for Ravi. And he wants, like, my mom was fine. She had insurance, assets, etc. I wouldn't take money from my mom, but he wants you from him to give Ravi this money to go to this seminar, this coaching seminar, this event. So Elena, that November, I go to see Brian Buffini on stage. And I said, oh, wow, okay, this is it. And I drank the Kool-Aid. I swallowed as much Kool-Aid as possible. I'm like, this guy, I could do this. Calls, notes, pop buys, like write cards, like give wonky gifts to people. Like, I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden, I had a system and exponential growth. So 2008, I did very well. 2009, much better. 2009, when we started flipping the houses. And the only reason we started flipping the house, I went to go see my client from 169 John. I took this corny ass wind up flashlight and said, lighting all your real estate paths or something.
Robbie was on Pinterest back then.
It was horrible, right? And his girlfriend was sitting there. She lived in Cabbagetown and she had just graduated from McGill. And the next day I was interviewed to start flipping homes with her. And then we started flipping homes and making money. And she just started referring every single MBA from McGill came here and I bought them a house. You know, every single one, like probably like 14. She was such an advocate of me that she stopped somebody in the elevator one time and said, I see you're with an agent. Come here. And
I have a better one for
she
you.
calls me and says, listen, talk to this person. I just saw them looking at condos. Like, hello? Like, Hi, super, like, just absolutely my biggest advocate. And, you know what? At the same time, I was at a very sort of modest, no frills, kind of like weak brokerage. And I decided it was time for me to leave that brokerage. I felt like LeBron in the draft because it met with Glenn McQueenie. Do you know who Glenn
I know
is?
exactly how you feel at that moment
Yep.
because I did the same thing.
Yep. So I met with Glenn from Keller, and he gave me the Red Book. And every
Did you
agent,
drink the Kool-Aid again? Ravi,
all of it.
for such a good salesperson, you're really easy at
You know
being
what though?
sold.
Both of those things were great at the time, right? And that book, I think every agent should read Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I think it's literally just simple, right? Like it's not hard business, but you got to do it. And then I met Ken and Deb and Steve, and they were like, "Look, I think this is a great place for you." And I'll tell you, I had multiple offers on a listing, and both agents were from Hallmark. So I'm kind of asking, like, tell me about Hallmark. And then the next day, I called an agent that I know from Hallmark. Her name's Audrey Azad. I'm like, Audrey, you tell.
I just saw her yesterday.
Audrey's amazing.
Yeah,
Right?
she's so lovely.
You
I
remind me of
literally
Audrey.
saw her
Like,
yesterday.
both of you are like action, right?
Can I tell you one of my most embarrassing moments with Audrey?
Tell me.
Audrey doesn't know that this like wasn't a thing.
Okay.
So I have Audrey in my phone as Audrey Realtor, and I have Andra Arnold's on my phone as Andra Realtor.
Yeah.
I talk to Andra probably every day.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
So my phone rings and it was Audrey, not Andra. And I didn't realize when I answered the phone, I'm like,
Yeah.
how's my favorite person? That's literally how I answered. And she goes, well, what a welcome. And I'm like,
Oh,
I'm like, this is
sorry. You're not my favorite person.
I didn't even correct it. I was like, well, you know this person and I know them. So the friend of my friend is also my friend. We're now friends. So I saw her yesterday. I did not correct her. I did tell like the person that was hosting the event last night. I was like, that happened to me. But I literally answered the phone. And I do answer the phone that way. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, hi.
Up until now, I thought I was your favorite person because you answered the phone like that, right?
That's like my go-to line. How's my favorite person? How's my favorite agent? How's my favorite whatever? Like,
It's a good line.
and I also like when I send client gifts, I go, your favorite realtor, Elena. Like
100%.
I put it in everything.
Oh,
I don't even put Elena because they should know. I'm like, your favorite realtor. That's it.
Well, Audrey, she said, listen, stop everything you're doing and sign today with Remax Hallmark. And, it's really interesting because the day I signed, Gary Keller called me. And he was like, listen, we want you here. We want you to be part of our movement in Canada, blah, 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 blah. Listen, I support every single business model. I understand different people are doing different things. I personally want to be where I can learn from, people like Audrey. Like I can look up the ladder and see people like, Kaylee Heaps. Like what a great example you guys have of somebody who's just people you can learn from, right? And at Hallmark, there's at least 100 people doing big business and everybody is collaborative, right? So it's a great place. And looking back now, I think there have been pivot moments in my life, coach, assistant, brokerage, all three of those things. If you want to be serious about your business, figure those three things out.
Yeah.
My assistant just had a baby, so she's on maternity leave right now.
So Ravi's looking for someone.
No, you know what? I've got a great replacement. And the replacement, my mat leave, she negotiated. And I was like, it's too much. But you know what? I think you get what you pay for.
I 100% agree.
And I believe in looking after people well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look, you and I are very similar in that regard. Like we're very culture focused. Like everyone needs to be happy. I made everyone on the team go for coffee dates. They have until the end of the month. We did a whole here's a basket of everyone's name. Go become friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because our team's growing still. So everyone,
Yes.
yeah, we work well together. We're a close-knit group. We oftentimes help out each other with our clients. Like we need to,
Do you want to be in production, like, and sell, like, over, let's say the next 5-10 years? You still want to sell, right?
I can't see in my mind a time yet where I won't be in production.
Yeah.
And I also think I'm younger in the industry. I think my horizon's a lot further. And one of the reasons why I started a team was because eventually I do want to have a family.
Yeah.
And when I do, I want to be able to take a step back. I don't mean fully get out,
Yeah.
but to be able to not be at the production that I'm currently at, but still be at that level because I have people that I trust and know can do an amazing job.
And Elena, it takes a lot of time. Like Justin's been with me for 11 years. And when I was diagnosed with cancer, I had this lovely client. We were selling their home. It was one of the first Chinese families to ever own property in Canada, and the home was what Huron Street.
Yep.
All right, and we sold it, and I physically could not do what was required to be done. And I woke up and was healing, and everything was done. And I think one of the secrets to my success on my team is empowering people around me and understanding that if you're going to be in an entrepreneurial business, you don't need a buyer's agent. You don't need a showing agent. You need top producers, right? And that's a totally different philosophy than, for example, the Red Book, right? Which is like start with this, then this, then this, then this. And that's an amazing system. It's just not what I'm looking to do.
No, but it's the same thing. It's like I've been asked like, how big do you want the team to be? How big of whatever? And I'm like, I don't need the team to be 40 people. I don't need it. I need 10 people or 5 people or like 15 people that are sharks and that are like, I know that if I can't be there, one of them will be able to handle it. Like
So
that's what I need.
on the topic of team recruiting or growing, less volume, more quality is always the way to go.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we've now started this, I'm building it right now, this question system that tells me the things that are outside of your skills as a real estate agent, but tells me things about your quality as a human being. So
Did you
one
make your people do the disc analysis?
true colors, all of it. But one of the telltale signs, one of the revealing signs is, can you tell me 5 things you did this week for other people with no benefit to you? And I know I can easily think of a lot, but if you can't think of 5 things you did this week with no benefit to you, you probably just don't have that inner core character that I'm looking for.
You know what? That's going to be our next icebreaker question for team meeting now.
Beautiful.
That's what I'm going to use. Name
You
me 5 things. And if they listen to the episode, they're already pre-warned. Go do your 5 things.
You know what? There's a culture code that we have. There is lead with culture. Like, I'm not building just a team. I'm not building like people in an assembly line. I'm trying to build relationships. Like I tell people, like, guys, I want to be on the Amalfi Coast. I want to be wearing all linen. I want to have long flowing white hair and beard, not too long, like still trimmed. I don't want to be there with my grandkids. I want to be like, guys, remember the pandemic? Remember when we were like doing that client event on Zoom for Thanksgiving? We had everybody like, eat together, but it was on Zoom. Remember that? Or oh my gosh, remember that time like we all like went to Vegas for the Remax convention and I wasn't supposed to, but I took the owner's table. We spent like way too much money just partying and we couldn't show up in the morning, but we all showed up. Like I want to be in the Amalfi Coast with my grandkids and my team. And like that in my mind, like my job is for everybody around me that works on my team to say, Ravi, I'm a better person and a better agent because of my proximity to you.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Some people want a G-Wagon, right? That's fine too. Yeah.
I just want to be on the Amalfi Coast with long but trimmed hair.
Yeah, kind of like flowy,
I'm picturing this now.
right?
Linen, flowy hair.
A couple more tattoos, right?
Oh my gosh. Um, I was like, you fully lost my train of thought on that one.
Now, portfolio, I will tell you, because you were asking a little bit about portfolio. We have some doors, we have some things, but Manager Johnson said something really cool when I was invited to speak on the same event with him in Ottawa. He said, I love real estate. He's like, I love real estate. When I buy real estate, I buy whole neighborhoods. He says, but I love investing in people. So my portfolio includes real estate, includes a couple condos, Muskoka property, our principal place of residence. But I'm having fun figuring out how I can create and realize dreams with people. So one of my clients, they used to own a restaurant called Regulars Bar right at King of Portland. And then we now have a Ontario line. And they're like, Rav, so crazy you're calling me because I had asked them about another business. They're like, listen, we're closing the subscription agreement on a restaurant we're building. It's going to be on King Street. Like, tell me more. And coincidentally, in Richard Robbins, they have you write 50 dreams. So one of my dreams was like, I'm going to open a restaurant on King Street, right? But it's like, okay, and then I go there, see the raw space, and it's like, welcome to Silent H. I'm like, did you just call this place Silent H? And it's like, yeah. Like my name is Singh with a silent H on the end. He starts laughing. So we signed up for that. And then we have an entertainment company. I used to be in hospitality, and we're building a business now where we're going to do some really cool events in 2026, most likely. Many of my team come from hospitality background too. So I'm just having fun with that. I own part of a resort syndication, and this syndication has acquired tremendous property portfolio. They were doing a $27 million raise, and we participated in that. We own a few condos. We own a
Is
few
there
things.
something that you would say helped you get to the next level? Like you've invested in this one property and then that property helped you get to the next one and then that kind of snowballed. Because I think the part that I think most consumers have a hard time understanding is your first property doesn't have to be your dream property, but it's a way to get there. And
So,
like I know every agent or every person like has that one unlocked everything else.
so Justin on my team, he had started co-buying very early. And him and his two buddies, they owned one went to few went to many. And I believe there's nothing wrong with diversity and partnership. And I think that that was a risk reward kind of calculation, and it's paid off. Right. So, my plan now is, and have no problem with people who do it differently, but I have a really nice, not big, not small house down by the water. We love our neighbors. We're gonna stay there, but I want to buy 5 of those. I want to leave one for, each one of my kids, have one, da 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 da. And I find that one of the big problems that real estate agents have is lifestyle inflation.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
it's like I gotta get a Rolex. I'm gonna fly private. It's like whoa, 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 whoa. Like hold on. You sell real estate. That's great. And you're making money. That's great. What is your how many months in the bank do you have for your company? You know what I mean?
You know, what's actually quite funny about what you're saying is my partner's a CRO of an AI company, and I do pretty good at real estate.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
I believe in house hacking. Everyone that knows me knows I believe in house hacking.
Yes.
Dan and I live in the main floor of a house we own, and we rent out the other two.
You don't need more right now.
But it's also not the only place that we have.
There you
Like,
go.
we have it set up in a way where our properties pay for the lifestyle we want to have. But also, we don't need it. We don't have any kids right now.
Mm.
When we have a kid, then we'll get a house. When we have a whatever, then we'll do it. But I notice it all the time when I'm shopping with buyers that we don't want to buy something because it's not the end goal. We don't want to buy something because XYZ. And the part that I think most people should take away from, buying a beyond our means or lifestyle is you just need to get in.
Mm.
And once you get in, it will unlock your path to getting more. The hardest one you'll ever buy is your first property. After that, it's easy. And then at like 7 or 8, it gets hard again. Like,
Yeah. And you know what? I was having this conversation with a very senior realtor yesterday, and I said, look, I know our tax burden and our landlord tenant act are not in favor of landlords. Still a great business. Still amazing.
it is, but also it depends on a couple factors. Like being a landlord is not for everyone. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yep.
You have to have a certain risk tolerance. It is one of the safer versions of investing, even though the landlord and tenant board is more towards the tenant side, but it is an easier form of investing.
Yeah.
Like you're putting up 20%
Correct.
of the collateral and the rest the bank is funding.
And you're debt servicing it with rental income, right?
But the most important factor is just vet your tenants extensively. Because like how much is a good tenant worth versus how much would you pay to get a bad tenant out?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you have to remember. Like don't
Yep.
be like, I need 8,000 a month. Be like, okay, let's be reasonable. Maybe we take a little bit less, but I get my pick of what tenant I want. And then I get a good tenant in there and I have no headaches.
Yep. I'm finding that buying businesses and partnering with people on their dreams is really a fun way to build assets right now. But make no mistake, like owning property, paying it off, and not owning property to sell, owning property to keep is the trick, right? Like I have no desire to sell anything else other than this condo in Oakville that we own. Nothing. And you know what? If you can buy them in your 30s and 40s and pay them off by the time you're 60, you have now created generational wealth.
100%. And also that is your retirement plan. That is like you, we're in real estate. We don't have a pension. We don't have a retirement plan. My retirement plan is my properties. By the time they're all paid off, the passive income that will be generated from it will pay for the lifestyle that I want to have.
Yeah.
So like it is a great move if you're looking to invest in real estate, but planning it out and knowing what your end goal kind of is, it can shift,
Hmm.
but kind of is will help you think long term instead of short term.
100%.
And real estate's a long term play.
I'm tired of people speculating and disguising it under the name of investing because real real estate moves up and down upwardly over decades.
You get lucky if you turn it around very quickly. That's the best way to phrase it.
Yeah, and listen, great. If that happens, awesome. But that's not the plan. That's just the
A
you know
happy coincidence.
happy coincidence,
Like I
right?
had when I got into real estate in 20 end of 2019, so 2020. So I got in on the height of the market.
Mm,
So I got right before when it was a normal-ish market,
yeah.
and then it came
Crazy.
like it popped off.
Yeah.
It went insane and everything was running a mile a minute, and that's the market that I had to kind of get my footing in.
Hmm.
When I first bought the house that we're in, the price we paid versus what we refinanced it for 6 months later is a completely different number. And I've talked about it vocally on the show before. I paid 1.65 for my house. We refinanced it for 2.3.
Beautiful.
And I tell my clients, like, there is a way to refinance and recycle your money. But then I also have to be like, disclaimer, this does not happen. Like in 6 months is not usually the turnaround.
No.
Like
Yeah.
when I called the mortgage broker and I said, refinance the house right now, he literally goes, you just closed. What do you mean? And I'm like, I'm watching the market. The properties have gone up in the area. Like, do it now.
Good.
And like, again, if that's your goal, you talk to your real estate agent and you're like, listen, when you tell me the market is increased to a point where I should refinance, just let me know.
Yeah.
And like, we'll keep an eye on the pocket. We'll keep an eye on the neighborhood. And when we see the right cup of sales, we'll be like, refinance it now and pull out your money.
And by the way, one of the guys on my team is a pretty large scale developer. Um, the refinance is part of the major piece of the real estate portfolio building, right? I said he was looking to sell an assembly, but he was able to manage a refinance. And the refinance now gives him 5 years, right? So now the slush fund has been replenished. The income is coming in, and it's not the right market to sell, this beautiful assembly, right? He's got a few of them, King and Dufferin, Park Lawn and Lakeshore, like solid pieces. But who's looking to build right now? Or sorry, who's looking to acquire land right now? The appetite's not what it was
Yeah.
when money was free and prices were going up, right? But that being said, I think it's a great buying opportunity. I think I posted a little thing on my Instagram story saying Warren Buffett said, be greedy when others are fearful, be fearful when others are greedy. Like right now, Guyana, where my family's from, they calling it the new Dubai. And every day someone says, Rav, like this pre-construction in Guyana. I'm like, avoid. They're like, but it's just going up. Like they're building bridges and trains and this and that. I'm like, listen, now you don't do it when literally you go to the barber shop and everybody's talking about it. Do it before.
Yeah.
Right? Now you can go pick up a condo that was 1.4 for 950. Like, come on, guys. Like, be mindful that the dips don't always happen. Sorry, the dips always happen. And the people who buy when it's going down always do well.
100%. And that's also not to be fearful of like selling right now. There has to be a reason behind why you're trying to sell. What are you trying to do with that money? And maybe it is finding a different investment opportunity. And now is the right time for you. But from the buyer side, you should be looking because there's so many deals out there. And again, different segments of the market move differently. Like I
Yeah.
was in multiple offers on a condo yesterday.
Yes.
And like
Yes.
it happens. It's a good product. Everyone wanted it. It was priced well. It sold. So like be mindful, the good stuff still sells. And if you list your property properly, it will still sell for the most amount of money in the least amount of time.
Yes.
And like don't be greedy if you're on the seller end in terms of like work with any offer that comes with you. You don't know what their end number is going to be. The start number does not mean that they're going to end there. Keep working it until they come up, until you know for sure there's no deal, because you don't know if the end number is actually the end number.
And on the buyer side, leave a little meat on the bone. You know, we don't have to go just like
The
destroy.
jugular.
Yeah. You know, like win-win, no deal. You know, just give them a little something,
Then
right?
there's me, and I'm like, whose side am I repping? Listen, there for a deal to be good, all sides need to hurt a little bit. That's for a deal to be good.
Yeah.
If one side feels like they've been destroyed, the deal doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, like it needs to feel somewhat balanced for everyone to walk away happy.
Yeah.
And if like little things happen along the way, like furnaces break or windows need to be fixed or whatever, they're more likely to do it if you didn't go for the jugular.
You got it.
Like you just gotta
I agree wholehearted.
simmer. And your agents will direct you on how to kind of walk you through that.
If you got a good one.
Once again, it's Elena Saradidis. I was with Ravi Singh today, and this is Property Play. If you like content like this, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe.